Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Conan on King difficulty. This is my guide and walkthrough. We're now on mission 4. What's it called? Sand Vault. I thought it was called like Sands of Time or something stupid like that, but we're now in the desert and we're going to be fighting a beast. We don't have any magic quite yet, but we do have I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Song of Death. And do you see the yellow bar that's accumulating below our health gauge? Well, if we build that up, we get augmented attacks, which deal more damage. And this chapter or mission, whatever you like to call it, we are going to be doing a boss fight at the end of the chapter. I like the chapters that don't have boss fights, honestly, because they just drag on. But the beast that we fought right there, most of his attack, well, I should say, everything that doesn't look like a pounce can be guarded against. And these guys down here, the guys with the bald heads and the markings that look like Kratos, these guys can be grabbed and they can also be stunned. And you can do what's it called? It said it right there. Anyway, see how our blade is glowing red? We have augmented attacks. I don't think it has any relationship to you're doing combos, but if you consistently use this while it's glowing red like this, you will deal more damage and you'll prevent it from going down. So just don't stop hitting with this attack. Well, not attack, but just when you've built this up, just go to town with attacks and see how you can just grab these guys. Now, in a minute here, we're going to be picking up a health upgrade here via these rune triumvirates over here. And just be aware that one of the chests over here has a beast inside this area, so you're going to have to fight him. Looks like we're dual wielding with some kind of a sickle-like blade here. And this is just a little hidden area. These jars right here will give you a little bit of health back. I wanted to... oh, here's the beast. See, this was my first time coming up here since my last playthrough, and I just forgot there was a beast in here. So I was thrown off guard when I got hit over there. And these guys... just like many of the enemies in this game, when they hit you the first time, it's really likely that you're going to get staggered in a bunch of hits. So get used to getting hit in a long series of attacks. It just doesn't let you break out of them, which is unfortunate. There's not much information about this game. My walkthrough here will be the first on YouTube because when I was doing some searches for this game, there's only I saw some videos of somebody doing some King difficulty stuff, but it wasn't complete. Someone named Vish, and he did a couple chapters, but that's it. I don't even think he made a playlist for it. But here we go with our upgrades. So you do need to do this in a somewhat timely manner, and if you stick your blade into the ground near the circles, all three of them, you're going to get a health upgrade. And this chapter, like I said, it does have a boss, and the boss isn't hard at all, but for some reason you don't get any health regeneration for it like you usually do. So here's the first save stone, and then these guys down here with the two-handed weapon. This is a really good weapon that I like to use quite a bit, but these guys can't be grabbed. So just see, the problem about trying to grab these guys here is that sometimes you'll mistakenly think that you can grab these guys because they look like the other guys sometimes when there's so many of them in a crowd. So if you attempt to grab them, you get punished with a small attack. Look at that. I love the pair. I just love this. Love this system here with these riposts. They're nice. This one is kind of longish here, but you can't deny that looks fucking cool. Anyway, so just interact with these. I was spam pressing the triangle button there, that's why I didn't come on screen. And see how they all kind of blend in together, but the guys with the smaller weapon, just remember that you can grab these guys. So I wanted to thank everybody for watching the videos. I don't have any illusions really they also, those guys with the long weapons that we have, they throw projectiles at times, so usually when you see those you're getting hit by them, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm basically going to use this weapon for the entire chapter. I am going to be using it on the boss. It's a pretty slow weapon, but it deals really good damage, and I like it quite a bit. And I thought I was going to edit that out, but it looks like it was just one of those ones that got lost. And over here we've got a small auditorium fight with more of the guys that we were fighting in the last chapter. What the fuck? I didn't edit that out? God damn it. I hate having that stuff in the videos, but oh well. You know. I'm just trying to bring a little bit of awareness to this game because it is pretty goddamn good. And I did get a comment. Somebody said that this game is locked at 30 frames per second. He's got a kind of a complicated username. I don't know what it is. Sorry about that, dude. But it was the guy who was telling me a couple of details about this game that I think I got wrong. So it could be that this game doesn't go beyond 30. That would make a little bit more sense because a game like this, you know, I don't think it would have any grand aspirations of getting really high frame rate, but especially with the loading times because you can just tell it wasn't optimized that good. And are we done with this? You've got a couple beasts on this chapter too. I kind of like this chapter. I kind of don't at the same time. There's a lot of chapters, honestly. What else? On my Elgato software, it says that the game is it's in 720. I don't know how true that is. Maybe they just rounded it up from some other resolution or something like that. But it looks like it's a 720p game running at 30. I don't know too much about it. One of the things that really bores me when I watch videos, particularly the Digital Foundry videos, but it's not really them that are the culprits. It's the 4K gaming. I don't care a single fuck about that, honestly. I don't care about it. I hate how they're pushing that stuff, and it's funny how they're pushing it, and it's not even native 4K, isn't it? It's just upscaled. So what the fuck are you bragging about if it can't even run it natively? So I can't. It bores me so much to hear that shit because I don't care if it can be in 4K. It's one of those contentious issues, isn't it, where most people, you know, who are casual gamers, they don't care much about frame rate, and I can understand that because maybe you're not too involved in gaming, but the frame rate is so much more important than how the game looks. I don't care how this game looks, honestly, because the gameplay's here. It's fun. It's pretty damn fun. The role is not too fun, but it's... You know, I can settle for these graphics. I'm content with this amount of graphics here. I don't care as long as it's halfway decent and it's kind of fun. So I'm enjoying this. We've got a Camel Punch here building up. What a dumb name. But you can use the... I was just kidding. It's called the Camel Punch. You can use this and hit them pretty well. And in a minute, we're going to get 10 extra experience points. Wow, that's a fucking lot amount of experience points. Thanks for that huge pile of experience points. 10 points. That's all you're giving me, huh? 10? I can get more out of a jar. Anyway, we're going to be rolling our way over here. Looks like we've got another area to go to. And it's okay if people like graphics and they don't care about the frame rate. It's just one of those controversial issues amongst gamers. I understand, but I'm 4K is great, but I'm really, if it's still at 30 frames per second in 4K, like how would you even get excited about that? I don't understand it. You know, as long as it's at least like 60 frames per second, that's pretty damn good. And I'm hoping Nier Automata is going to be running pretty well. It looks like that game is going to be coming out for Windows as well as PS4, guys. So I will be covering that. I'm doing my best to bring you guys some projects. I am dealing with a lot of like personal issues, like some pain, and it's kind of getting frustrating. I did get a shot today, so that should help ameliorate the pain a little bit. Although it takes quite a while for that to seep in and start suppressing the level of pain, if it's going to take. Sometimes it doesn't take. Look at that bastard throwing projectiles at me when my fucking back was turned. Fuck you, asshole. And if this weren't such a restrained game, we would probably go outside right now through the window, but they don't let you. This weapon demolishes. It's really good. Look at the Demon's Descent here. Anyway, so you've got a couple jars over here, and really preserve your health because the boss, I don't know, for some reason, there's excessive loading screens and unskippable cutscenes and no health regeneration on repeated deaths. And that's not really typical, guys, so if you're running in against that or running up against that, just realize that it's uncommon for that to happen. I don't know why it's doing that, but anyway, I really wouldn't be worried about this difficulty too much either, because it doesn't look like the attacks that you do on enemies, it doesn't lessen them on this difficulty. I think it primarily just whatever you're getting hitting with, it takes more damage off you. You're not dealing less in what the fuck am I saying? You're not dealing less damage to enemies. That's always something I'm kind of uncertain about when I'm thinking about how I would design a difficulty. And sometimes on this chapter I had a bug where I wouldn't even have to block him and it would block for me, and nobody could hit me. So I don't have any cheats on. I have 3 of the 4 cheats unlocked, but none of those are on. There's no need to use those at all. And there is an in-game achievement or trophy, I'm not sure how you would say it. There is an in-game sort of reward for beating King difficulty. This game doesn't support trophies, but it will have a little pop-up message at the end saying that you've cleared King. It's just an in-game. Oh, fuck you, man! I tried to grab him. I don't know what I was thinking. That could have been an accident. But we're not doing too well health-wise. You notice that Beast came over here and another one came after him. We've got a bunch of health over here, and also I think on this difficulty they give you less health out of these, so that's 2 points that I wanted to stress. Yeah, it looks like you get a tad bit less. Yeah, on hard difficulty you get more back than that. So okay, so we're going to push a couple of these columns down, and it doesn't appear that there's any enemies up here. A couple of things to smash, I think. Oh, a hidden item over here. I'm going to try my very best to get all of the things that I possibly can in this. This isn't 100% completion walkthrough, though, for hidden items, because I don't believe I know where everything is. But the ones that I see, I'm gonna do my very best to get. And anything hidden, I usually am pretty good about finding the hidden stuff in these games, because they can't really pull a fast one on you when you've played all these God of Wars and you know where to look and stuff. But one of the biggest enemies on this game is something that you might not expect, and that's the broken jump and the broken grab detection. It's abysmal. There's a couple jumps in this game that it's its own boss fight, so it's horrible. But I want to meet the person who made the checkpoints on this game, because I want to pat that guy on the back and shake his hand, because maybe it was a couple of people or a team of people, but the checkpoint person on this game is a genius. So, and not across the board. Like 9 out of 10 places on this game have really good checkpoints. Like, it's amazing. Like the level of thought that are behind some of these checkpoints. It's as though they were designed with this difficulty in mind, and hard difficulty. So it's refreshing to see that, actually, for an old game like this, because make no mistake, this is old. It's like 2007, so it's fucking old. But that's no matter. I don't care. As long as it's good, I'll play it. I will play it. So up, down, and up is all you've got to do there. Got a couple more of these guys with the weird masks. And yeah, just this weapon is just kicking these guys' ass across the board. It's just demolishing everybody. And that guy's even up there too for his trouble. And also on these bosses, make sure that you're prepared to do QuickTime events, because if you take a boss's health all the way down and you fail the QuickTime events, there's often times where you're gonna have to redo the entire boss. You can press start and select to slow your reaction speed that you're required to do down, but they're not too bad, and they I would say every one I've always felt that I've been given enough time. So that's something as well, because that shows consistency if nothing else. Anyway, we've got a save stone over here. I had trouble interacting with this at first, so I'm going to do the fight first and then we'll save our progress. What else to mention? And I really haven't been buying too many other upgrades. One of the problems about the upgrades I noticed is that you have to buy moves to unlock the other ones, and sometimes the ones that you want to buy are not necessarily the ones that you want to buy, but you have to buy them to unlock the other ones that are deeper into the menu. So I've always felt that was a little unnecessary. So smash all of your jars over here. Go ahead and save your progress, and then we're going to be moving on and doing a little platforming.
Nowhere to go but up.
So this is a pretty easy platforming section if you're just patient, because it's going to demand a little patience from you. A couple of items up here. And on these falling sections, or the jumping sections, why did I call them falling sections? Looks like there's some cleavers in that room, a rack of cleavers. If you have more health, then well, let me tell you how to do this one first. Wait until the water stops, and then on this one, wait until it completely gets out of the pipe, and then you're going to be going over and down. Oh, there's nowhere to go down here. I'm sorry. Just wait for this one to go. Every time you jump to the right, you're going to have to wait until the water stops. You are not going to make it if you don't wait. But on these platforming sections, if you fall, it's not instant death if you have more health, and they usually spawn you right at the jumping area too, very quickly, actually, more quickly than is usually the case. Over here we've got another cat, and it's always hilarious. The reason I threw my weapon, which by the way is R2 to discard an extra weapon. You can't discard your main weapon though, so if all you have is a sword, you can't throw it, because then you wouldn't have anything to attack with. And again, there's no durability to these weapons, so as long as you have them and the game won't take them away from you randomly, you'll always have them. The reason I discarded that weapon, by the way, is because I knew I had another one of these guys over here. And unfortunately, see, when you stun these guys, even though I don't think that was represented perfectly, but you can't grab them even though they're stunned. And his head went flying there, which is pretty cool. I'm going to take his weapon, by the way. They spawn you right in this room, too. And we've got two cats over here, and I think this is where the glitch happened, where I was getting... the game was blocking for me, so I didn't even have to block. But it's kind of funny when he calls these things curs, because they're clearly not dogs. On this particular section, you're going to be standing on two of the circles, and then the final one is the one that works. So it's always kind of random, and that's going to have this column rise up here, and it's just a pretty weak roll. I don't really like it. See, there's a failure of the game to grasp onto an object. And we've got one more guy over here. So the amount of health that I have right now is pretty low, and that gave me some trouble on this boss fight. Although we got a little bit of health back, didn't we there? There must be more fights coming up. Okay, so we've got one more of these, and should you die over here, they will spawn you after the fight. So once again, the guy who made the checkpoints is very nice. He's a nice guy. Look at this. It won't even grab onto it. Anyway. There should be another stave stone coming up here too, so... Anyway, you're going to be going up here. There's nothing towards the camera. We'll do our combat roll up here. Open this and just check out where it leads. I'm not sure where we're at. I think we're trying to raise the stairs a little bit more so we can go through the bottom part there, through the hallway. Yeah, this is where I took some... I shouldn't have let this amount of damage. I should have just allowed these guys to... Like, yeah, this is horrible. Don't do this. I'm sure they spawn you right in this room. So if you get hit that much, Yeah, we don't have... I mean, look at that. We have less than half our health. So usually that's not a bad thing because the game will fill you up incrementally, but not this. Not this boss fight for some reason. Okay, so we should be able to go through the cat's mouth. And the beasts aren't really that bad either. They're not really fun to fight, in my opinion. They do have a move that you can't block. Every move that these beasts do, you can block it, though, so... Yeah, here's the unfortunate part here. Now, I edited out a cutscene, which you have to watch every time. There's no skipping it, unfortunately, so... Here's the Sand Dragon. We'll be dealing with this guy for quite a while because this game drags on and on with boss fights. I wasn't having too good of a time here. This took about 40 minutes. No, this can't be. Is it? Yeah. This... How did I... No, I couldn't have survived this. Could I have? Well, hopefully this... No. I don't know how it... No. Could I possibly have survived with that little of health? So, the majority of this Sand Dragon's attacks can be blocked, but it breaks your guard when he does like a bunch of consecutive bites. You can't just stand there and block. So, you know the Hydra fight in God of War, like the first encounter with the Hydra, it's very similar to this, and you can block all of that thing's attacks, but not with this. So, you can also throw the weapon that's on the ground in this room at him to do a little bit of damage. And it's helpful because it's a small amount of health that you can get pretty much for free. And there's a little bit of health right there for us. And then that quick time event at the end, there should be 2 or maybe 3. Nah, I guess just 2. This was a first attempt over here. I don't know too much about this encounter, just because it was a first attempt. But anyway, they're going to spawn you over here somewhere if you die. I remember having to do this fight a couple times on hard difficulty and having to do that little running section every time. So here he is again. He's got a new health bar. And I don't understand this because it doesn't deal much damage to this guy at all. Does it? I guess it does. I wasn't... Really? Because he does that a lot. I didn't think it was doing anything to this guy. Does it? Yeah. Okay. I guess I was seeing things or something. I don't know, man, but... Okay, so there is a reward for doing that. So you've got to quickly press that button. And... Basically, just... You're going to be stabbing his tongue and doing this. At least it deals him some damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. And he does it a lot, so... That's how you're going to mainly damage this guy, because you're going to see that prompt a lot. And he should be dropping a little bit of health here, but basically it's just... It's hitting up a couple times and then going as far away as you can. If you want to try blocking, there's nothing that's going to stop you, but this is a horrible checkpoint because they do not refill your health. And see how much we have. We're going to have to depend on drops over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to smash all the jars to get as much health back as you can. And just kind of see how you do with the drops. This next part is not too bad. The only problem is having to redo this every time. So once you get him all the way over here, you're going to be jumping up onto this scaffolding over here, and then hiding behind a column. See, he's going to throw some spikes at you, but you can stand behind these. And then the idea over here is to bait him into doing this ground slam on the side that you're not on. So the next time he does that, I'll show you exactly what you've got to do. What you want to do, though, on this phase is attack him a few times and then use the combat roll to roll towards the screen. And then when he's doing this, I stand behind the column here and block just for double protection, and then I stand on the column's opposite side so that he doesn't damage the column, because I want to stand behind there for safety when he's doing his spikes attack. because it deals a pretty hefty amount of damage. But the most damaging thing that he does is that ground slam. And there's a lot of attacks of bosses in this game where you're going to have to jump to avoid taking damage. So you can roll too, but jumping is more safe. So just stand behind here, and you also, if the column is on the right, stay to the left and then go to the right. So you don't have to jump either if you're clear of the shockwave. And there's a pretty good amount of space here to roll back towards the screen. So just take a couple of chops at him and then just roll away. I don't bother with blocking because I don't want my guard broken. His biting attacks take away a lot too. I think you can also fall off this thing, so be careful doing the combat roll around here. And I think I got damaged there, but I was doing so well up to that point, I don't think I had taken any damage. And we got a little bit of health back, and we're going to get more too from some jars coming up on this section over here. So don't worry, you do get a checkpoint over here. I have died here on hard difficulty. You don't have to get this chest. In fact, sometimes it's hard to get onto these grappling points from the chest area, but should you die, they'll give you a checkpoint right there, so you don't have to redo him. I can confirm that. And then also, in addition to that checkpoint, they also checkpoint it right up here. So how nice is that? Okay, so as comfortable as the checkpoints have been so far, even though they haven't been the greatest, but they've been pretty decent. You don't get any more checkpoints until the chapter's over, when you get to save your data. So you're going to have to take 3 health bars off of this guy, and it's not as bad as it sounds. Now, I had to restart from the checkpoint. I'm sorry. I had to load another file that I had from the previous save point and respawn from the save point and do these phases over, because see how much health we have now. We're really comfortable with this amount of health here, but I only had like one allowance for a hit over here, and it just wasn't working out, so I had to restart and redo these boss phases. And I'm actually going to be dual wielding now, and I would recommend that you dual wield here and use triangle attacks. It's very helpful. We're doing the triple heavy strike here, and once he goes down the first time, make sure you've cleared up the scaffolding so you don't waste too much time, because I don't think you can interact with that rock and kick it 3 times like is required of you if you haven't cleared the scaffolding, because you don't get that much time. So make sure you've cleared that up. So here he comes for the second time, and this really isn't hard at all because you take off hefty damage from this guy. So this is on King difficulty, and look how much we're taking off him with triangle attacks. It's insane. So he has 3 attacks. He has that fire breath that that you have to jump over, and you can outright block that tail whip attack with his tongue that he does. And then all the rest of his attacks, it's just biting attacks that I would recommend dodging out of the way of, because you can and you can't block his biting attacks. It's just going to break your guard. Now, you have to get off the crank really quickly, otherwise what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to get off of it before he hits you. So it's just the same thing. Block that attack, jump over his AoE, and just watch out for his biting attacks. Roll towards him. Triangle, triangle, triangle for the best damage, and that's it. So 3 phases. It's not that bad, but I couldn't deal with the loading times. The loading times are disgusting. Particularly here, it's like at least 40 seconds, and if not, it's somewhere between like 30 and 35. It's disgusting. But anyway, guys, take care.